today, this is part of my series, which I call Water. Now, I was gonna do a bunch of short, or maybe just a few short videos, but my dad advised me to, why don't you bring them to a learning journey, rather than quick, simple, and easy, because that's not how this world works. So I took his advice because I got tons of things to go through. Okay, tons of things that I have to go through in order to make my final video. Okay, so he said, since you like to teach people and since you like to show them what you discovered, why don't you bring them along the journey? So that's what this is, video number 1.1. How to test your water. Now, if you noticed, everything here is in glass. Please remember, glass or porcelain. Okay? From now on, start drinking your water out of glass and porcelain, and you will see what happens. Okay? That should be something to test for. Now, if you noticed, this one here with tin foil, and this is about close to 6 hours. I did this in 6 hours. This is the water that I have actually made. This is the water that I actually filled. They're all the same, remember. If you look really close, there's a lot of bubbles, okay, on there. I hope the camera will pick up so you can see. Hopefully. Maybe. You can see the cloud in it. You can tell. And yes, you can experiment this on yourself, on your own. That's what this video is about. The next one, I put them in tin foil. And I'm going to take it out for you because that's what this video is about, right? I just wrapped 2 layers of tin foil. And I put them all in at the same time. And you can see there's not that much in there. There's only a little bit in there. Remember this, and remember this very carefully, okay? And I will be the one that will teach you this. You can only block radiation for about 6 hours. Yes. Radiation, as you know, as we all know, okay, radiation will attract to here, which is metal, any type of metal. And as I stated in my previous video, I stated that sugar, salt, and everything else is actually a form of metal. And that's why they have attraction, which they call it the law of attraction. And one person said, oh, is our body a battery? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. How do you think your heart pumps all this time? And later on, I will tell you why. And yes, I will be the first human in history will tell you why that people actually have heart attack. Yes. As I said, I will make other videos. That's another video. I will tell you why people actually have heart attacks. Here's another concept. What do you think the Earth is? The Earth is actually a battery. And guess what holds the electrons? Salt. And so, yes, the Earth is a salt battery. Salt battery does not hold that much charge. Please remember that. But because it's so big, the Earth is so big, it's able to spin. Get it? It's able to go around the sun, and as it goes around the sun, it spins. Just like a motor. How you think a motor spins? A motor doesn't spin without energy, right? Where'd you get the energy? Well, that's another video, but I'm just going to tell you. The Earth is a salt battery, okay? Please remember that. They don't teach you that either in school or in physics. They think it's something else. Oh boy, I got a lot of teaching to do. Now, here's another one I just showed that is actually just regular water. And you can actually see them right up here. Any space we have, you can see condensation. It's because I am in the city. Right now, 5G is all over the place. And yes, I actually have a video up here if you want to see my backyard. Okay, and I'm going to make another video how I'm going to show you just my street alone. Oh my God, there's so many antennas. But that's another subject. And that's another video. Oh boy, going to be a lot of videos. So, here's a concept to this. Water and metal attract radiation. For this sample and this sample, the radiation just go right through the glass. But this cannot go through the glass. It gets stuck onto the metal first. Eventually, and I said eventually, it will seep through. So if you leave this for 12 hours, you will see condensation just like this. But right now it's only 6 hours. That is my water. That's the water that I made. And you don't see any. But within 6 hours you will see a little bit because, and I said because, radiation will attach itself to this here. So when you make that water, you only have 6 hours to drink it. And if you want to continue on, you have to cover it with tin foil or metal, or you can do something like this. If you don't have it, or you don't want to, if you want to save your tin foil, you can use a pan, aluminum pan, and then just put a lid, a metal lid on top of that. Anything fit in it, of course. That will be your water. Remember, why are we doing this? We are doing this because water cannot touch metal. Please remember that. If we touch, now you hear this all the time and people will tell you this, and I agree with them 100%. When you touch this metal, you become the antenna yourself. Yes. All the electron from here will transfer to you. Yes. Your body will try to steal it because your body is a battery. Now, so by me doing this, I prolong it. Okay? And no, it has to be in the dark. This water cannot be in the light. Because what is light? Light is a proton. Now, light is a proton, and I'll explain it to you a little bit. Even scientists and physicists and all these people don't understand. I'm gonna do it just a little bit, just for you to understand. Light, they don't believe is a particle. Yes, it is. It's a nanoparticle. And here's why. In my case, I say yes, and it is 100% particle, and it matters. Because if it doesn't matter, you won't see it, right? Here's how the electron, a light proton, looks. Something like that right there. And I put, here's how it travels, and I'm going to explain it to you. If light is not a proton, a particle, it would have not reached to the Earth. So for us to see, let's say this is the Earth, And this is our sun. This is another sun. You were able to see the particle from this sun, and you were able to see the particle from the next one. Let's say a next one will be about 3 light years away. It actually traveled 3 light years before we actually see it. We, meaning right here, us, okay? If that was blocked, then you won't be able to see it. If that was not a particle, then that light would have passes through, right? Naturally, right? But if that was a particle, then if you put something here and block it, you will never be able to see this sun. And that's my theory on it, okay? But this is their theory. Their theory, they're thinking that light is not a particle. In my theory, yes, it is. Everything is a particle or matters, okay? So now, because they think because light have no mass. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If it has no mass, it would have traveled a straight line. But if there's mass, it travels in a wave. I will explain that in another video because that's another subject that I have to explain. Easy as that. And because they don't understand this, because they don't think that's a particle, everything is a particle. Even this video here, we're talking about radiation. Radiation is a particle. Nanoparticle. Hey, if that didn't exist, we wouldn't have this subject at all, would we? Well, there you go. If something doesn't exist, we won't have a subject. Right? Kind of strange. Well, that's just a little bit about that, okay? And they also said that because light doesn't have a mass, it passes through certain things. But no, it actually can absorb into here because it's a proton. A proton can split. Yes, it can. When you put something in its path, let's say here's a light coming in. When you put something in its path, that splits. The proton would split, but the radiation will pass through. And that's pretty much the same thing here. Light. You see that light shining right now? Light hits it, but radiation, it splits, and radiation would attract it to here. The reason why we want to block that, we have to block light as well. Not only we have to block radiation, we have to block light. And here is a good example. Why do they start making milk? Yes, milk. They start putting milk in a white jug. And yes, I will show it to you. Here's an example. This is a see-through. Because you can see through, right? There are companies now that actually make this jug white. Why? It's because it actually keeps the milk longer. And that's why they put milk in white instead of something clear like this. Because they want to block light. If light doesn't matter, like here, that's what we're talking about, light, to block light. If that doesn't matter, they would have not invented a white jug for milk. See how it makes sense now? See how it starts to make sense, a lot of sense now? That light, yes, light itself, it's actually produce radiation. And I can prove that easily. If you take a laser and beam at this corner for a second and put your finger on the other side, eventually you will feel heat. What is heat? Radiation. So, this is an example of what we have to do to our water. Okay? In order to get good water, 1, we have to block radiation. 2, we have to block radiation. And that's what it is. Now for light, which is a proton, a negative, positive, and a neutral, what they call a neutral, to fuse as a proton. But what is a proton? If you separate a proton, you will get positive, negative, and a neutron. Or neutral. Neutrino, more like it. So, it acts the same way as radiation. Well, in this case, radiation has already become radiation before. This is before light. So not only we have to block light, we have to block radiation as well. Those two will come hand in hand because what are they? Electrical charge. Now, there's a lot to cover, of course, and I hope you're going to learn something from these series of the videos, because I have, like I said, I have to cover a lot of things. And I hope you will get something out of it, because I want to do a whole series of it to teach people how to understand these things. And in order to understand this, you will come to find out later on how we're going to do all this. Because I had a little discussion. I said to my dad, we actually have to make water in about 6 stages. Yes, there are 6 stages of water. You will find that out later on. There are actually 6 stages of them. And because of that, myself, might be in, let's say, -1. Because 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. So I might be on -1. Someone might be on -2. While the other people have to stay on the positive side. Remember this lifetime and remember a scale. I always tell you there's a balance in everything. And the scale will go up and the scale will go down. Okay? Just like that. I will teach you the scale later on. The scale of life is the same way. Water actually is the same way. I am surprised that no one actually studied this. There's actually one person come to mind, and he was actually the person who was actually his name is Victor Salzberger. He actually dedicated his whole life to study this, but he did not, and I say he did not. One thing that he missed, and I wish he did, because then all these would make sense. But here's the problem. Because of him, he didn't understand one thing. I come in the picture. So now, maybe I will continue his work. I don't know. I only read a little bit about him. I only learned a little bit about him. I will eventually go into further, but he went into so many things that it is very basic. That's all I'm going to say. But he went into so many things because he worked in so many things. He tried to find different ways. But he forgot one thing that he did not put one thing in, is radiation. Yep. So his work didn't go the way it should be. And that's why people have not understand it. So thanks for him, he didn't find radiation. I found radiation. I found radiation plays the biggest role in the universe. Yes, radiation plays the biggest role in the universe. And because of that, I was able to understand more than he did. He forgot one thing, and he didn't think exist. Well, Victor, if you're around here somewhere, and his grandchildren too kind of follow his footstep. But Victor, if you're listening to this, you forgot radiation, because we're dealing with a lot right now. And here's what we're dealing with a lot right now. And before I end this video, we are dealing with cell phones and the antenna, which is called 5G, or the phone is turning 5G. We're dealing with wireless. We're dealing with household stuff, like even your phone. Your phone is the newer one, 5.4 gigahertz. Baby monitors. Smart meters. Even our gas. Yes. Our gas that come into our house right now, because I live in the city, there's actually they read off from that big thing itself. There's wireless in there as well. Our water. There's a little box with the little water. Actually go down and read that little box in our water. If you live in the city, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You will see this little tiny box. They come over, they put a thing right onto it, and boom, they read how much we consume the water for that month. So, not only all that, the biggest, and I say the biggest culprit, it's actually Bluetooth. You would not believe it, but Bluetooth, and you know this, and I know this. It's in car, it's in radio, it's in our entertainment system, it's in our TV, it's in our speakers, it's in our games, it's in everything. Your speakers, your phone, your headphones, your microphones, your refrigerator. If you have those new ones, yes, they have a... I don't even want to say it. With an F. They actually have Bluetooth in there. And what about your alarm system? What about all your cameras around your house? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, there's a lot of radiation bombarding your water right now, and you don't even know it. Unless you see this video, of course. And I don't have to prove anything. You can test this yourself, and this is how you test it. Before I go, very easy. Remember, it has to be in glass. Fill it up to here only. 2/3, okay? Please remember 2/3. And leave it out for 6 hours. Remember this. Some of my videos, I mentioned 6 hours. 6 hours. I will be the only one in human history to say that radiation lasts 6 hours. Yes. Invisible radiation, light or photon radiation lasts thousands of years. How do you think we or it able to travel from one star to the next and us seeing it? Because it lasts thousands of years. Yes. Okay? Please remember that. So, this is how you experiment your water. Okay? You need 3 glass. Remember, it has to be in glass or porcelain. You can cover it if you like, or you can cover something on top. You just leave on top of it because it has to breathe. But it is best to cover it because then you will see this phenomenon. You will see how much water, how much radiation is in your water. Now, the one I cover up, I'm going to expose it for you. Look how it's only less. It's the same water. Every water except for that one. Okay, I fill them all at the same time. Okay, now that was in tin foil, and you see just a little bit because you can see it clear. I try not to shake this. I try not to shake this either because shaking takes the water molecule, so you have to skip about a ½ an inch away. So from here on, you can see how much radiation's in there. Okay? Even when you only leave a little bit of space, you still able to see radiation exist in there. And yes, you can use this method just to see how much radiation is in your water. 6 hours, okay? No more than that. And this here has been sitting for a long time. But the next 6 hours, you will see it's starting to do again. Because it takes about 6 hours for it to absorb. Because I made that, you don't see any. But if you leave this for 6 hours, you will see it. Probably half of this right here. Because this has been Done. You see it? About 6 hours ago. You see the little water molecules? Right there. Okay? So this video is about testing your water. And you don't need any expensive equipments. We are going to use what these things will tell us. Will tell how much radiation is in your water and what you are drinking. So you don't need any expensive equipments. And here's the thing. They don't have, this is so small and so nanoscale that they don't have an equipment to actually measure these. So remember, okay? Remember before I go, this video is for testing, and this is how you're able to test your water. As simple as what you see here, okay? Other than that, that's about it on this video, and I will see you in the next video.